Super Bowl pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, roll A, straight up on A.
We're ready to go into fast time if you are.
Live from the authority of South Florida, The Rich Stevens Show starts now.
You're doing a real good show up there, and I think we're proving our point, old buddy.
How are you? What's going on? It's Thursday. It's just after 10 o'clock. And this story is just continuing to unravel in front of us. If Bill Cosby didn't do what all these women say he did, then this is obviously tragic because his career is seriously unraveling. Of course, if he did it, then he's getting exactly what he deserves. NBC has decided not to move forward with a new sitcom that Bill was going to star in next year. Netflix is no longer going to air the stand-up special that was scheduled to premiere next Friday. Bill was going to play the patriarch of a large family on the NBC show. There's some reports that the network has to pay him a pretty fat sum of money just because they're backing out. And here's one more kick in the pants. TV Land is dumping reruns of The Cosby Show effective immediately. Meanwhile, Cosby's going on. He's got several stand-up gigs over the next week and a half, including one tonight in the Bahamas and tomorrow right here in Florida. The show's in Melbourne, sold out, and apparently, as far as we know, all systems are go for tonight's show and tomorrow's show. But then another victim has come forward to accuse Cosby of drugging her and raping her. Her name is Therese Sarnay. She lives in Boca Raton, and she joins us here today on The Rich Stevens Show. How are you today?
Hi, good morning. I'd like to just tell you that at the time when I was 19, my name was Therese Picking. Sarnay is a married name, and that happened years later when I got married. So the name Bill Cosby knows me by Therese Picking.
Okay, so this was in 1976. You were both in Vegas, right? What were you doing in Vegas?
I lived in Michigan at the time. I'd come down to Las Vegas where my mother lived. My younger brothers and sisters were also there. And so we just went to visit our mother in Las Vegas. And my mother lived about 3 blocks from the Hilton Hotel. So as I recall, my sister Cecilia and I walked over to the Hilton Hotel, and we were just walking around. We happened to be in the gift shop, just looking at everything in the gift shop. And that was when somebody came up to me behind me, put their arm around my neck, and said, "Will you marry me?" And I turned around to see who it was, and it was Bill Cosby. And at the time, he was headlining at the Hilton. He was a big star, and he was easily recognizable. That's how I met him. We ended up talking. He was being very nice. He's a very charismatic kind of a person, funny, all that stuff. And he asked me if I wanted to go see a show. And I said, sure. And so that's what I did. I went to see his show.
What was the rest of the conversation? I mean, this guy walks up to you, puts his arm. Did he put his arm around your neck from behind so you didn't know who it was when this happened?
Yeah. Yes, so that I had to turn over my right shoulder and look to see who this was.
And you instantly recognized Bill Cosby?
Well, of course. He's a big star. Who wouldn't? Everybody knew Bill Cosby.
So what's going through your mind as this is unfolding in a matter of seconds?
Well, I just thought that was kind of exciting and thrilling. It's like Bill Cosby. And then to get, the ability to go see his show, wow, that was really, really nice. It was a kind gesture.
Now, how did he arrange for the tickets for the show? Did he just take your name or your room number?
No,
what?
He just said to give a call. Just give a call up, like he'll put my name on the list. So it wasn't a ticket thing. It was a put your name on the list. You call and you come to see the show. So you call and your name is on the list. You walk in, you sit down. Were the seats good? Yeah, it was up at the front.
Was it one seat or two?
Well, I'm only one person, so it was one seat.
Okay, no, I meant were you with somebody?
No, I wasn't. I was 19, but my sister was 3 years younger at the time, so she was 16. So they were all, a little bit underage. And I'm not sure if the show was the 9 o'clock show. Usually there's 2 shows a night over there in Las Vegas. I haven't been there in a long time. But there's usually the first show and the second show. And in looking back, I must have been able to go to that second show. And my sister was probably just too young. She was not underage. So I went.
Okay, so you go to the you're on the list. You get you get to your name. You give it the door. They take you to the front row. You sit down. You watch the show. What happened next?
Well, after the show, somebody came to me before I got up and left. Somebody came to me and just said, "Follow me," and took me back to the green room. And
so this person just said, "Follow me," and you instantly followed this person. I mean, is that all they told you?
Sure, they escorted me into the seat. So if somebody's escorting me out of the seat, that wouldn't be abnormal.
Got it. Okay.
It's somebody that works there is telling me, "Okay, just follow me this way." Didn't really know, where I was going, whatever. I just followed the person.
And so you end up in the green room. What happened next?
Well, there was plenty of people in there, and if you know about a green room, it's just where people go and shake the person's hand and say, "Good show," great to meet you, and what a good show. And there's no alcohol, there was no party going on. It was just, good show, Bill Cosby. And I was in there, and I was a very shy girl. I was very quiet. Everybody that knows me back then, I was just a young girl, quiet. And so I just sat there. I sat on a couch, and I just figured somebody would tell me what I'm supposed to do. Like when to leave. I didn't even know what I was supposed to do. So I just sat there, but then one by one the people left, and I just didn't know what to do. So I figured they put me in there. They would tell me when it was time to leave. Only at the end there was only me and Bill Cosby.
And what happened then?
As a 19-year-old girl, this man was Bill Cosby. I'm just a girl from Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan. There was no odd thoughts in my head about this man at the time. Why would I even think that? But then he stood in front of me with a glass of water and held out his hand, and he had 2 pills in his hand, and he said, "Take these." If you know me as a person, I did go to Catholic school. I did, I was very, I don't know, obedient, I guess. In Catholic school, they hit you if you don't listen to your authority figure. It's a different time period than it is now. There was no empowerment.
But is this something you would have done at a different occasion where somebody puts out 2 pills and say, "Here, take these," and you don't even question it, you just take it?
No, but this was Bill Cosby. This was an authority. It's like your teacher. It's like the president. It's like your father. This is Bill Cosby, and I'm stuck in this room, like kind of paralyzed. I didn't know what to do, and I was shy. I was intimidated. I just didn't even know what to do. So in those cases, I did it. I didn't know what they were, and as I said to other people, I didn't even think to ask. I just obeyed him. I just did it. But I didn't know what they were, and I didn't know what his plan was. And this man planned to drug me and rape me, and I found that out. That after taking those pills, I found that out because the next instance I was aware of. We never left the green room, by the way. We were still in the green room. In front of, there was a big mirror in that room. And the next memory is feeling drugged, and he was behind me having sex with me.
We're talking to Therese, who lives in Boca Raton, who had an experience that she's describing in 1976 with Bill Cosby at the Hilton Hotel in the green room. Now, you were also a witness in the 2005 case that ended up being settled before going to court. You were witness number 10, right?
Correct, Jane Doe number 10. And that lawsuit, just to clarify, the 13 girls, women now, we weren't suing him. The one woman was, and we were just going to be telling our stories as this also happened to me. It was a supportive thing. It was enough threads and similarities wove through all of our stories that it made her story credible. And I guess the fear of having people come forward and actually tell what he's done made him settle. Then he buried it. It was buried. I'm sure there was a non-disclosure clause because it was buried after that. And then he went on. How
did the attorneys find you as a victim as well?
Whenever that happened, I saw it somewhere. Maybe it was the newspaper. It was somewhere in the media, and I saw it. And I saw it, and I was angry, and I thought, he is still doing this. He's still doing it. My instance happened 38 years ago. Okay, even if it was 8-9 years ago, that's almost 30 years later. This man was continuing this pattern of behavior and committing crimes against women. So I was angry. And I called the Philadelphia police and gave my story, and they asked me to write a piece of paper explaining a few things. It was a one-page little letter I sent, and then Andrea's attorneys contacted me and then said, thank you for agreeing to testify, that I could be anonymous because I didn't want to be identified and subject to what they do to you when you're identified as being a victim. So I was going to be like a Jane Doe. And so another attorney was going to represent me. Her name was Judith Rubino. And I think I talked to her on the phone. She sent me one letter, and then quickly that case was over. And then it went away. The media was no longer interested. It all died. It was buried. And then it came out again, I guess. I saw it like just 3 days ago now. I saw it on my Facebook. It came down my school on my Facebook, and I thought, wow, now it's coming out again. And this time I am 57. This time I am older, and this time my children are adults. And even if somebody calls me the names that they're calling all of these women, I don't really care. My point in telling this is to empower all women who are victims to tell their story, because it gives power to what happened to you. And what I want is for Bill Cosby to feel remorse and guilt for what he has done, and he clearly needs to stop lying and denying and be a man of good moral character, say, I was wrong, I hurt women, and I'm so sorry. And that's what he needs to do.
Listen,
so that's all I'm saying.
Listen, did you ever hear from Bill Cosby after he raped you that night in Vegas?
Yes, I did. If you heard any of the other stories, yes, I did. When I left the building, I went home, and I remember, I don't even know how I got home, but I remember telling my mother, and my mother was like in her 50s. She was she was born in 1925, so I guess with her era, she said to me, maybe he'll take care of you. At that time, you didn't report things. You just kept silent and went on with your life. So I did end up calling Bill Cosby. After that was done, I called him up and went to the Hilton Hotel. And evidently, I stayed at the Hilton Hotel for, I don't even know how long it was or what period of time it was. But then there became some kind of a relationship. I guess it was the victim, trying to make something, I don't know what I was doing or why I did that, except somebody just did this to me, and it was a bad thing, and maybe I was trying to make it something different in my own head, Like, how could somebody do this? That's really hard to, as a man, you'll never be raped, but for a woman to be violated like that, drugged and violated, you can't give consent when someone gives you pills. Even if I did put them in my mouth, you can't do that to them, and you can't knowingly then wait till they're all drugged up and then use them like you did. You can't do that. That's a crime. What
was the point in the scenario where he gave you his phone number so you were able to reach him?
Well, anybody can reach Bill Cosby if they want. They call the Hilton Hotel, and if he either accepts your call or he doesn't. So, in my case, I guess, he accepted my call, and I guess in his mind, he probably thinks he's not doing anything wrong. That's why he's continued this pattern of behavior. I can't imagine that that this smart, intelligent man who knowingly is drugging people, I can't even fathom how he can think what he's doing is okay.
All right, we're talking to Therese, who claims to be assaulted by Bill Cosby back in 1976. Cosby was putting a show on at the Hilton. And for those that don't believe your story, what do you say to them?
I don't need to say anything to them because the story is between me and the other women and Bill Cosby. That's who the story's for. It's not for the masses of people. It's not for anything else. It's the messages to Bill Cosby is, you hurt women, you stole our innocence, you betrayed our trust in an authority figure, and then now you knowingly lie and deny, and that's wrong. And so the message isn't about the people. That's neither here nor there if the strangers around the country think any of us are being honest or we're lying. The story, Bill Cosby knows what he did. And we're coming out and saying, Bill, you hurt us. You did something wrong, and you need to feel guilt, you need to feel remorse, and you need to apologize. So that's why I'm coming forward.
If he called you today, would you take his phone call?
Well, I don't trust him. That's a good question. That's a really good question because that kind of makes me feel a little panicky. So I would hope that if he did, I had a family member by me for that kind of support, and I would hope that he wouldn't be doing it to cause me any more harm.
Did you ever take any pictures with Bill Cosby?
No. Back then, no. I probably didn't even have a camera. Nobody had cell phones. It was a different era. It wasn't all about taking pictures of yourself back then. If you wanted a picture, you went to a photographer, he took a picture of you. There wasn't a lot of that. So, no, I don't have any pictures at all.
What?
I have family members that saw me with him, family members that he also spoke with, family members who, after that initial fact, knew there was some kind of a relationship there. I'm not saying it was, I'm not claiming to have any kind of particular kind of relationship, but there was something where we talked, and it persisted on for almost 15 or so years. I was able to talk to him. He called me, and so I guess it changed into something different. And I wouldn't, even to this day, my point isn't jail or whatever. My point is, Mr. Cosby, stop doing that to people. Stop. It's because that's predator behavior, that's sociopathic if you lie about what you're doing and have no conscience about it. And then it's a sexual behavioral pattern that he has continued probably for 40 years. So it says nothing about me to come forward, but it says everything about Mr. Cosby.
Did you ever speak to any of the other women?
No, I never have. I've never met them. No, not at all.
Do you have any interest in speaking to any of them?
I really didn't give that any thought. It was brought to my attention, not like a half an hour ago when somebody said, about getting all of us together. And I thought, that sounds like a very powerful experience. So I wouldn't be, I would be open to that. But basically, I wanted to get my message out because I'm just on with my life. I'm a registered nurse, mother of 3 grown adult children, own my own home that's paid for, just work and exist and love my family. And so it's not my driving force to think about what's happening in the world with Bill Cosby. I'm just telling my story at this point.
Therese, I have one more question for you, and I really appreciate you taking time to share your story here with us on the Rich Stevens Show in South Florida, where you're a resident, which makes it even more close to home. Tomorrow night, Bill Cosby's performing right up the road from you.
Yeah.
Any interest in seeing that show?
Oh, I know. I don't really want to have contact with him. He's a great comedian. Anything that I say about his other side, I take no, it takes nothing away from the comic genius that he is, the great humanitarian that he is. I'm not saying he isn't any of that. He's a really funny guy. So, and I don't fault anybody for wanting to go see him. He's a funny guy. It's just this other side of his character that me and I'm sure all the other women have the issue with. The part that drugs and rapes women. So that's his life. He's still going on with his life. It's sad that he won't hold his head up and say he's sorry, I did wrong, because that's what somebody should do towards the end of their life. You want to atone for what you did that was wrong. You want to say sorry to the people that you hurt. You want to say, I did the best I can and I did make some mistakes. That's what a man of good moral character would do in this situation. And so, let him go on with his life as, it's not my business at this point.
Just clarify one more thing for me before I let you go, Therese. A lot of people, the pattern that I keep hearing from all of you folks that are accusing him is that you know that you were raped, yet you went back again. And in your case, you're telling me over 15 years you carried on this relationship.
And so what's the question?
I mean, if you did you not realize that it was an assault at the time, and you're just realizing this now, or what? That's the part.
No. I realized it at the time, but I was 19 years old. I don't know if you know what a 19-year-old was like in '76, but we were much more innocent than the world is today. We didn't have social media. Your world wasn't so big, and so it was small. And so, evidently, in my young girl's mind, my teenager mind, I don't know. I don't know why I did that. I wouldn't do that now. I don't even know if I would report it now, because they crucify women still to this day. Women are mocked and not believed. So, and nothing's really changed for women. I think 1 out of 4 women get raped. It's common for women, and it's our experience, and the world goes on. People basically let people like him get away with it, and so we are not empowered. So at that time period, well, what can I say?
It was an entirely different world. Therese, I really appreciate you taking time to share your story with us today, and we'll be in touch with each other, okay?
Oh, yeah, okay. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for talking to me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. That's Therese. She lives in Boca Raton, and she claims that in 1976, she met Bill Cosby in the gift shop at the Hilton Hotel. He put her arm around her neck and asked if he wanted to get married.